Anyway, let me just go live in this piece. I know a lot of people were talking about a lot of different shit pertaining to this whole riot situation that's going on, and I'm sure a lot of people are kind of wondering, like, damn, like, how does this whole Epstein case like tie into everything else that's going on in the world, right? And I find it to be quite interesting because the thing that inspires me to do what I do the most is looking at people who, they can love you from afar. They permit themselves from believing everything that you believe, but if it looks closely similar to what other people look like, they're more so in support of it instead of actually sticking to the right thing. I felt like the need to have to sit there and like prove myself. Like, I had to sit there and actually be in the space of like proving what's good myself. Forgive me. Dude, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so basically, I'm sorry, I'm just like going through this process. I'm going to relate all this stuff that's going on really quickly. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Girl, let me tell you something. It has been a very chaotic type of energy, but at the same time too, it's been a very I told you so kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a very eye-opening type of energy for me when it comes down to this particular situation. It has not been easy for me to to be able to focus that much on what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. But even when going into this reading itself, people are just like, yo, okay, wait a minute, we're about to do a reading on Jeffrey Epstein. What's good? The reason why I'm doing this in the first place is because I wanted to make 2 points. And there's a difference between people that, I understand. Some people, they have other things to protect, other things to do. They have other things that they need to look out for. But there's a difference between, being able to, actually admit when somebody's telling the truth, okay? And that's why I'm starting to look at aspects of friendships in a different light. I'm telling you, this is all gonna make sense in a minute. But it's like just sitting there reflecting on someone that I've had conversations with, right? And I'll literally be talking to this person and be like, talking about, for instance, Jeffrey Epstein. Speaking about this man on the phone with this person, like, I can't believe this. This is so horrible. I can't believe somebody would do this to children, so on and so forth, right? Having a conversation with them, okay? And then we both actually said, you know what? It would be very interesting to sit there and, he deserves what he's going to have coming to him, like in that type of energy when we're speaking about the subject. The next day, the man dies after I'm talking all this shit on the phone with this friend, right? Then come to find out I have a conversation with this friend, like, I don't know, probably the night yesterday, right? Last night. Had a conversation with this person last night and basically was going through this whole process of talking about why I don't vote. This is all gonna make sense, I promise you. And then we're gonna get into the reading. But I just kind of like wanted to put some shit out there. Why I do not vote, okay? And why people just look at me like I'm some crazy ass person when I'm sitting there truly expressing myself and explaining why I don't vote, okay? In the awakening of events, to what we are currently seeing, I actually spoke to this person that night and I said to her, it's so interesting. The reason why I don't vote is because of the fact that, everybody has dirt in different parties. And I can see that now. The older that I get, the more that I recognize it, I can see that there's too much dirt going on either side. And I said, if someone has pictures with someone like Jeffrey Epstein, okay? And you see all these politicians in logbooks and all these different things like that, do you really think for one moment that anything pertaining to Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, queer, black, white, it does not matter. What matters is green. I don't think y'all hear me. What matters is green. What matters is who is going to be able to handle the control of green and to submit themselves to it. Everything that's happening right now, I'm explaining this to you the best way possible because this is supposed to be in the space of awakening. This old world is dying. I'm trying to tell you. Anyway, let me get to this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. I just wanted to make a point because I keep feeling like people trying to play with my mind. And then next thing you know, I find information about, basically, I said this to the friend last night, like, you know, these politicians got pictures with Jeffrey and all this other shit like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they find, you know, receipts on Trump in regards to this whole situation. And I'm sitting there like, you know, I ain't trying to judge him or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm wrong. And then somebody sent me, right? They sent me the documentation pertaining to Trump and Epstein on trial. And I'm just like, that's interesting. And isn't it somewhat convenient that this man just happens to die? Like I said, I'm not siding as a Trump supporter. I'm not siding as a Democrat. I'm not siding as anything. I'm siding for Queen Prodigy. That's who I'm voting for. Voting for myself. Okay? But anyway, let me get back to Jeffrey Epstein. So I wrote this in an old book that was actually given to me by a trader that I used to know. So I didn't want to write it in my new pretty fairy book because this is really cute, you know what I mean? So I'm just using this old trash book that I'm finna throw away anyway. So I'm just showing y'all, just writing down names, writing down birthdays. We finna get into some things. You understand what I'm saying? And that's all I'm trying to say. I just want to get into some things because let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. Okay? I don't give a fuck what it is. You don't fuck with children. Okay? And I may be cursing a lot right now and I'm trying to like woosah on it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care. You understand? I don't care what type of society you have going on or what privileges you think that can constitute the abuse of children and the abuse of our planet and the abuse of what's going on in this country for minorities or for anyone for that matter. And we do need to use our platforms and speak up how we really feel. Some people feel that it's convenient for everybody else to do the dirty work. You know what I mean? Oh no, you go out there and do the dirty work because you don't have children. You don't have anything to worry about. You just have a dog, basically. You just have a dog. So, you know, you don't have children. You're not putting yourself at risk like I am because I've already birthed the future. Even though you don't have the wherewithal or the knowledge to actually give your children the right premise on how to survive for the next 100 years. But let's not even go there. So anyway, let me find a card for Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, honey, it is popping tonight. Let me tell you something. I was sitting outside charging my chakras underneath the sun, which I'm doing right now in the present moment. But it just like really opened my eyes up to like what's real. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that keep it real, the people that actually want you to have reparations versus the people that just want to have a pity party for you because you're black. So I'm just going to say it what it is. There's two different types of situations in this society at this present moment, okay? There are going to be people that fully liberate children, women, all aspects of minorities in this country and compensate for the amount of trauma that they have created within our communities. That is the only way that there's going to be submission through the government in any type of a way in order to make it right, or else it's all gonna go down. Oh, child. Anyway, let me find these cards really quick. So I found this card right here, the King of Swords. But I wanted to find some other cards too because I want to see some key players really quick. And I just want to find 2 cards actually. Oh, there's that one. And I'm just going to have you guys decide which one you feel is appropriate to represent Jeffrey. Now don't worry about me. I make sure that I'm protected by my ancestors, and I make sure that I'm doing this in divine channeling through divine light. So his birthday is, let's see, January 20th, 1953. So I want you to choose which one you feel that he will represent. So January 20th, I don't know if that's like Capricorn, or I get it. When it gets close to those cusp areas, I don't know if it's like, you know, Aquarius or Capricorn. It's kind of like borderline. So I want you guys to choose whatever response. I see 1 for swords, King of Swords. That is what I'm seeing. If I see a 3rd one, then that's what I'm going to confirm. And if not, then I am going to, oh, well, that would make sense. Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Okay, so let's do this. Let me go ahead and light this stuff up. It's an agitating energy. You understand? Like, it's a very agitating energy right now. But I feel like there's a difference between people who say, oh yeah, use your platforms and speak up, but they don't really say what's really on their mind. You know what I'm saying? And yes, it's about positive energy and love and light and all the other stuff like that too. And being more mindful about how we're moving about doing certain things. But I'm just gonna tell you right now, Mother Nature, she ain't playing. She is not playing. And I've been saying this, and I've been meditating on this. And like I said, sometimes you have people around you that are just like, you know, they appreciate and they support what you do. And I'm not talking to everybody out there. You understand? I'm just talking to certain people that sit there and kiki up in your face and do all this other stuff like that, and then act like she ain't about that shit. So that's all I would say. Sorry, just have to do my thing. This is all kind of like ritual anyway. So let's focus on Jeffrey Epstein. That is January 20th, 1953. I just want to see if you can actually bring up certain key players in this particular scenario, because I know that you are just like in this complete mood to just like say every single aspect of what's going through your energy right now. So I'm gonna just like leave it at that. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys what I got, and I'm just sitting here shuffling the cards, random as hell right now. Okay. Here we go. So, King of Swords, okay? This is interesting. This, again, me shuffling random cards. The Death card is on the crown, okay? And for him, this is in the subconscious mind, the Hierophant. This is like in some aspects of him describing having to, it's like, how can I say it? Even in the space of his subconscious mind, it's like trying to redeem himself in some way, which is interesting. Being in this space of redemption. Because this Hierophant is talking about how he earned a lot of faith or a lot of trust in certain people. But in the same time too, it's like looking into yourself and realizing that you have to like make this shit right. Does that make sense? And he feels like in his death, even if he was gonna die, even if he tried to fight it, maybe it would atone for his shit. That's all I can kind of like describe that energy as. Again, look at this, in the situation, he's saying the Ten of Swords, okay? He is acknowledging the fact that he was murdered, okay? First and foremost. People who are using certain aspects of intelligence in order to watch his every move. and he is trying to redeem himself for that. And like I said, y'all can say whatever you want, you know, whatever the judgment is, where the judgment at. I'm not, you know, it is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just putting this information out here just for the sake of the fact that it's important that it's not just about moving in fear of what can be done to us. Instead, it's about trying to protect our children. It's trying to help those babies that can't speak up for themselves no more. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, this is way bigger. I think that this whole situation is way bigger than what people are actually acknowledging. Okay? And I can't hold up, like, people just can't hold on to that anymore. Okay? Like, for real. He's talking about being murdered, period. I didn't even share this on Instagram because I don't even give a damn. I'm just gonna do my thing and let it ride because I know how this shit works. But anyway, the foundation, initially he is talking about there being a specific seal on him as a child, which is interesting. So basically this seal that is actually going on with him as a child. Oh, that's another thing that I forgot to mention. The super chat is open, by the way. Also, I do ask that people can cash out at Queen Prodigy 0369. Oh, I'm sorry. Queen Prodigy 369. Queen Prodigy 0369 is my Instagram. You can email me at queenprodigy369@gmail.com. Anyway, moving forward. He is talking about something happening to him with a seal as a child. Being in this position of being chosen in a specific way. Does that make sense? It's like, this is on some like strange aspect of a religious passage. And that's just kind of the way that he's describing that to me. It's kind of like being programmed in advance, if that makes sense, for something that you don't necessarily have the choice. Like, you just don't have the choice. That's just what I'm feeling, okay? I'm just gonna tell you what it is that I'm feeling with this man, because I feel like he's trying to get some shit off of his chest, but I feel like something happened with his childhood to where they sealed something on him, and basically it has, and I'm just going to say allegedly, and this is for entertainment purposes or whatever. But yeah, let's just keep it with entertainment purposes. But when things actually show before your face, keep playing with ancestors. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Because nature coming. So I'm all good with that. Keeping it moving. This person had a seal. You understand? This person had a seal on them as a child, and the feeling that I just keep getting is that it just wipes out who they are. Does that make sense? Like, something else is taking over that child, or him as a child. Does that make sense? And I feel like that's like the best way that I can try to describe that to you all. Speaking on aspects of doing his best to deal with aspects of like the product of suffering, but learning that suffering, even in the aspect of suffering, okay, for people that don't have much, it's easier to receive from what they don't know. The energy behind this feels disturbing. Absolutely. Because it's like the realest shit out there. You know what I'm saying? It's like extremely real and raw. But it's just in this space to where I feel like for someone like him, look at this. It's just being able to provide. And this is the interesting thing too about this situation that he's kind of showing me as well, is that even when you see all these politicians and different people, they're all allegedly with one another. Like, that's the interesting thing about like all of this stuff. Like, that's how they solidify their bonds. But he feels betrayed. He feels that once he was gone, everybody was still continuing on and celebrating. He feels used up. Like, I'm just kind of like putting through what's, going through that energy. I'm guessing he was abused as a child allegedly, and he done some damage to others. It's just, again, it's this aspect of programming. You know what I mean? And that's how they try to logically describe it. It's just an aspect of programming. And it's just strange. I just want to see about Donald Trump and, oh, what is this? Victory? Okay, hold on. Let's see, basically with Donald Trump and Clinton, you know what I'm saying? What is the relationship between the both of them? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just raw. Usually I don't just go this raw, but honestly I feel like doing that right now because there's too much going on in the world. Oh, okay. So, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So anyway, let me show you. Here we go. He is showing me that this type of situation is all about family. Okay? That's the part that a lot of people don't understand, that this is all, that's so weird to say some shit like that. Like, this is all family. This is what came up in the root. Isn't that nuts? Like the 10 of Cups, family. Like, this feels like family, friends, close relatives, like different things like that. Again, this Ace of Pentacles, this is what we come from. This is what we come from. You see what I'm saying? This is what we come from. He is addressing the fact that his energy was defeated by the female that was around him, Ghislaine, or whatever her name is, feeling betrayed completely by this person that was kind of like in the space of administering the process, like basically being under like this hypnotism, to where this individual, Jeffrey, would think that they have control over this person, but in reality, she's the one controlling him. That's the energy that I get from that. So I find that to be interesting. Again, the Knight of Pentacles is in the situation, okay? This is about this particular person that has the same similar seal. When we look at people who constantly have stars or seals or pentacles, they usually have banks and police officers and law and all of these wonderful different things, to where they have a conglomerate of businesses, etc., and so forth. This person is meant to get the situation done. And that's initially what this person, Ghislaine, or whatever her name is, the female pimp that's pimping Epstein, you know what I'm saying? Basically hired this homie right here, because I'm assuming that she was getting word from the girls that the problem allegedly had to go away. So I just kind of find it interesting that all of these things are like kind of like conveniently revealing itself, and I just kind of feel like, I know that people are just like, oh, you know, don't say too much, don't do this, don't do that, and all this other stuff like that, but I'm just like, you know, what's real? What's the truth? People want to know what the truth is. And I just kind of feel like I've been having this discussion literally with this person, and it's already happening. Let me continue forward. They took the opportunity to get the work done. He is saying that people think that his death is like some sort of magic trick, like, oh yeah, he's able to have the opportunity to disappear. It doesn't matter because he's saying that they disposed of him anyway. That's what he is expressing, first and foremost. Okay. This is like some sort of dealing with some aspects of having a nurse or a male nurse administering something as well. I don't know what that's about. That makes so much sense. Okay, so basically, he's showing me that there's certain aspects to where I keep feeling like if there's a certain nurse around this person, okay, if he has a male nurse or has seen certain doctors or certain people, they be doing the most, and I just kind of feel like people affiliated with some aspects of doctors need to be looked into as well, especially when it comes down to seeking swift justice for the children. The strength card, justice, ace of wands, swiftness, okay? This is like a heavy reading. It's very heavy. You understand? It's talking about dental records. It's talking about babies. It's talking about different things that people are using as trophies. Like, these people are completely out of their mind. And I just think that people need to just wake up. Like, wake up and look after your family, look after your children, and look after the possibilities of what to do next. Okay? Like, I'm only one person, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna just keep it to you real funky, because I keep feeling like I'm sitting there having discussions with people, predicting things before it even happened. And I'm telling you, sometimes the people that be like, yo, oh yeah, we talk every day and all this other stuff, don't mean that the bitch don't hate you. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean the bitch won't support you. Some people just like having dialogue, and I'm learning that shit real motherfucking quick. So, let's see. Did Trump know about, did Trump know about his word? Of course he did. What the, like, come on. Everything has to be pretty. Everything has to be pretty. Like, that's kind of what okay, so let's focus on Trump's energy. Also, please just, again, I appreciate those who definitely support and like and share. Please do that. Get the algorithm up there, regardless of what it is. Because I'm just going through a lot of internal shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just learning so much shit in the aspect of being silent for so long, you know what I mean? And feeling like I've been regurgitating the same nonsense, but then realizing like the only thing that's important is the sake of peace of mind for children. And if you can't do your best to speak up for the greater good, what are you good for? Like, what the fuck are you good for? You know what I'm saying? Where you know that something has to be done for the better, where this can't continue on. I don't care how much money you got. What the fuck does that mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? You can't buy life. That's one thing that you can never do, is buy life. That's the divine magic of this whole universe, and you will never figure it out. Ever. Because no matter what you try to do to dispose of us, we're always going to remain. Like, you understand what I'm saying? We're always going to be in the space of remaining. Okay, so basically what I did was I placed, I'm going to show you guys a card. Okay, hold on one second. So this right here is the alleged President of the United States. And this right here is the alleged Jeffrey Epstein, okay? saying that they were very generous with each other, extremely generous with each other. Like, even to the point to where, here's the secret. In the past, it's showing me the High Priestess card, and when I'm sensing the energy from the High Priestess card, they have a lot of girls that they've shared together. I'll just say it like this. All of these things are actually going to start coming out into the media. But the thing is that the issue here is that this one has a lot at stake. He is saying that he's drugged, okay? This is a situation of being drugged or doing something to create or to, it's like to inflict the asphyxiation process through medicine, and then the process of the strangulation happens. Does that make sense? So they're never going to tell you the autopsy of like what's actually in this person's system. Again, Ten of Swords. Okay? Here we go. He has other things to protect. Look at this. Like the Four of Wands. He has to protect the White House. He has to protect his image. He has to, you gotta protect. You have to protect. I'm just saying, like, this is not only just for the problems of the President of the United States. This is for the entire Congress. This is for the entire police force. This is for the entire awakening of who is actually going to submit to the people and stand for the people, and the ones that don't, what are we going to do about it? Whichever way, whichever way, I keep feeling like he's going to have to make a decision, making a decision between what to do next in order to keep the heat off of him. And I feel like the next thing that he wants to do in order to escape this particular situation is to go after this woman. And I don't know why I'm saying this, but he's going after Gasoline. So I don't know if she plans on moving or how she plans on moving, but it's like using certain things for bait, if that makes sense. So like just using certain aspects for bait. I don't know why I'm just putting like all this information out there as much as I can. Because I'm just like, you know what? Tired of people sitting there trying to play. Let me see. So that's what I can tell you all for that. Because people want to know the truth. You know what I'm saying? But they'll support everything else that's like, you know, other nonsense. But I'm just going to tell the truth anyway. Because that's priceless. Watching the series on Netflix had me angry. I haven't even watched the series yet, to be completely honest with you. I have not watched that yet, but I just kind of feel like this is like it's like putting a seal on somebody, like through a very like, the energy is just not right, bruh. It's just not right. It's not right what they're doing to these children, bruh. That's all I know. Even to his own youth, or into how he has transitioned into what he's become. This is more of a religious thing. I don't think that people understand this. It's like, it's the strangest fucking thing. Let's see, Barr's father hired Epstein. Barr's father, who's Barr? I'm sorry, who are we speaking about? It's just strange. Didn't he actually hire a lawyer from Epstein? Didn't he do that? One of Epstein's lawyers or former lawyers to fight the impeachment. I'm assuming that's what's going on at this present moment in time. Like, I'm sorry. Usually I'll be doing like a Psychic Sunday or it's like something nice, but yo, like, I'm just looking at this place like William Barr, Attorney General of the United States. Oh, Fun. Fun. Isn't that interesting? It is deep, child. This whole thing is deep. And the thing that's so interesting is that I actually looked at or been around places that talk or have the association of how he got his money, from certain people because he was their pet. That's what he's saying. He's like, I was their pet. You know what I mean? And they provided for me. Like, that's what, it sounds so bizarre, but like, that's just the energy that I feel. It's like so crazy. Child, that's a whole nother world. He had mad money. Honey, he had that was his sugar daddy. What's his name? Who's the dude that did Victoria's Secret and all them other things? I should have took down that dude thing, that guy's birthday. I can't remember his name for the life of me. But he does Victoria's Secret. He owns all of Columbus, Ohio. Who that guy? Somebody tell me his name, because I swear to God, I can't think of his name. What is it? Wexner? Is that what it is? Wexler. Thank you, sis. Oh my God. I was like, seriously, let me not lose my motherfucking mind. Okay? Let's just find out about that. Because people be like, oh no, you just be talking all types of stuff. And I have my beliefs about psychics, and that's perfectly fine. I ain't trying to change your mind. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to keep telling the goddamn truth. 100%. And that's one thing that just can't be stopped. But anyway. So I'm going to tell you. He's placing, the funny thing is that his family always wanted him to have like a wife and a family and all this other stuff like that. He's placing the Queen of Swords in the situation. He's like, I don't know what that's about, but like, I'm just not doing it. Look at that. Having a whole discussion about how he wants to kind of just like be in this space of communicating or just traveling with this particular person or just meeting them at their location. If that makes sense, because he's showing me the Chariot in the past. That's something that was very convenient for them, like always going through aspects of luxury together. Basically being in this space of doing this over a period of time. And it's just like it kind of worked out for their own benefits. Again, the Tower card is kind of like this intense energy, I guess you can say, and how certain people just kind of exchanged things and used opportunities to his own personal benefit, basically. And so he provided. And in return, this person provided, you know? Child, the money run deep and everybody been buying into it. You know, I'm telling you, let me tell you something. This is the wonderful thing about Sundays, because sometimes it gives you some time to really sit back and reflect, right? You know how you sit there and you go to church, go through different things like that? Because even on the Sabbath, I'm like, nah, you know, I'm not going to speak up. I ain't working. I'm not doing any of that. But I'm going to sit back and actually look at the projection of how we are focused in the world and what we accept or allow in our societies. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, there's always this common story that seems to stick out to me after I'm sitting there observing and studying so many different things about like the real 2012 versus the 2020 that you live by your Gregorian calendar and shit. And just like looking at the aspect of this world and trying to, you know, save people or help people or do different things like that, and seeing how there's certain people who appreciate it versus other people who just try to use it for their benefit. You understand what I'm saying? And seeing like the clear vision of that and just recognizing like, yo, everything that's been going on when it comes down to consumerism, when it comes down to the reality of what we've been living in and the psychosis of how much damage is done to people and to this environment, you know what I'm saying? It's just absolutely, it just blows my mind. It just completely blows my mind. Like, damn, this is the world that we live in. And how is this actually related to the Bible in a sense? Okay, let's even break it down like that, because I feel perfectly comfortable breaking some shit down like that. 100%. Okay, for instance, when you were talking about like the whole Tower of Babel, okay, which on some level I can probably relate to Trump trying to initially withdraw the United States from suffering a traumatic situation because of their affiliation with WHO or affiliation with the conglomerate of the self-destruction that they're attempting to oppose, right? So it's like within that space, I can somewhat understand that, but everybody got their dirt. You understand what I'm saying? In this aspect of money, it's just like this, it's like kind of, it's such a strange phenomenon to even think like this, okay? And I'm not saying that anybody should, but it's like being in a predicament to where people feel like they can just order things as if it's an appetizer, honey. Like, and I hate to say it like that because it sounds so disturbing, but that's how these people move. That is how they move, period. I'm just like, interesting. It's an interesting dynamic, you know, like, not that I'm interested in any way. It's just like, you know, just interesting to observe, you know, just how people are so caught up, just caught up. Why was Chris Tucker on the Epstein list? Ding, ding, ding. Okay, let's say it like this, okay? I'm gonna tell y'all. One movie that I love, and I don't even know Chris Tucker's birthday or anything like that, but one movie that I love so much was The Fifth Element, okay? Love that movie. Absolutely love it. But instead of a redhead, I just blocked that out of my mind and thought that she looked like me. And I love the whole story, period. Whatever. Not that I want to be with like a white guy or anything like that. It's just that I would just create the character that's going to work with me in my mind. If that makes, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, moving on. So Chris Tucker was ruby red, okay? So Chris Tucker was ruby red, right? Everything has to be green. Bzz, all that, right? Okay? You say that that's all Virgo energy. Here's the thing that I keep getting about that situation. Let's see if I can shuffle up these oracle decks. But I just kind of feel like certain people are just put in predicaments to where they're just put in certain predicaments, bro. Like, they just put in certain predicaments. Like, that's just kind of like all I can say. That's all I really want to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? No offense, but it's just like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I can say. It's just crazy. Let me look at this. It's all about, okay, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like maybe some people take this aspect of, how can I say it? Okay, okay, I'll show you guys these cards that I just pulled up. All right, so let me show you. Okay, Door to Romance is the first card, okay? Victory, that's the second card. This is in the aspect of receiving accomplishments, right? Being able to achieve your accomplishments through this space of love, allegedly. using people to be able to ambiguously balance their energy in a way, right? It's kind of like all going through like this conglomerate of like performance, if that makes sense. It's like very ritualistic, you know what I'm saying? And in return, that's where you get the benefit of being provided for, basically. And people feel like this is their purpose in order to receive. And basically, if anybody disagrees with it, then they're jealous. That's kind of how things are labeled when it comes down to things like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I can say about that. But anyway, I just find it really interesting. I'm sorry I had to go on that whole rant because I'm just like, these things are really happening in real life, and people are just constantly in this space of being conveniently asleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just don't want to see the truth about like how things are actually coming and revealing itself. But it's kind of putting people in this perpetual hypnosis in a weird way, in a very strange way. But it's about getting right with yourself, man. It's about getting right with this country, getting right with what you want to do. But oh my goodness. What Kobe had to do with Epstein? Let's see. Why not? So basically, the one thing that I keep hearing is talking about some aspects of pharmaceuticals in the first place that are actually being used to either test on children in a weird way, and that's supposed to help them to continue their business. Does that make sense? I feel like challenging that right to, and I don't know, it's just like using this particular drug in order to, wow, get the fuck out of here. Okay, so I'm gonna just say it like this. And I know he's a Virgo. Yeah, I got that because I've done a reading for him. And literally, while I'm shuffling up the cards, I'm literally saying shit like this. He's saying that he was trying to be in this space of possessing or trying to use whatever they want to use for Kobe, like whatever Kobe possesses. This person or this person that knows certain people were trying to use this particular patent, if that makes sense. They're trying to possess the right to use that. Children, again, okay? 6 of Cups in the past. Children, like, I'm sitting there telling you guys right before the cards even come up, but I'm gonna just say it anyway. Not too much that he wants me to say about this, but again, it's about being in this space of trying to exhibit the opportunity to what? 10 of Swords, again, to affect children or to take certain people out in order to try to spindle what they can get for their own personal well-being. And this person was trying to stop that. So anyway, any other questions? I'm clearly in a mood. Forgive me. I'm like really like in a mood with this country, and a lot of people are like, oh well, why don't you want to stay? Why don't you want to, like fight back, or why don't you want to go into the streets and do it? Like, first of all, my mother is Jamaican. Number one, I'm sorry. Number two, I was born in the Cayman Islands. Number three, okay? Like, if everywhere is my land and I'm a child of God, then that means that I can go anywhere and be okay. Just saying. Just saying. I just feel like Kobe no longer wanted to comply with certain aspects, period. And I feel like he was able to grow a company in a very convenient and legitimate way. And they were trying to take something from him. They were trying to take that name and connect it to something. I'm sorry, but that's just what I feel on my soul, on my heart. I really do. I'm wondering if the riots could be a distraction from something worse. It is what it is at this point. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel. I just kind of feel like the more that people uncover certain things, the more that people are going to take life a little bit more seriously and take a look and see that the aspect of politics and the aspects of religion are all encompassed into one cycle of chaos, right? And though they're trying to, you know, bring chaos into order, right? Do what thou wilt and all this other nonsense, right? But at the end of the day, you can't do what you want because there is a divine law that's according to nature. And at the end of the day, you all have put this energy out here for a very, 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 very long time. And now we have gotten to the point where this aspect of global extinction is not in the aspect of targeting people that are good people. This is about targeting people that hurt women, children, that hurt minorities, that are disrespectful, and that hurt human life. There is going to be a vigilant group that is going to come and get you. And I guarantee that. This is not something of a threat, not at all. This is something to where I'm actually putting a prediction out there. But at the end of the day, nature is going to take care of everything else, every single aspect of those foot soldiers. So I'm just telling the children of light to bask in the light, to meditate in the light, to open up your chakras in the light, to stay strong in the light, to be in the space of bringing peace of mind to your ancestors and those that you love around you. I'm not trying to make this a one-sided thing. I'm not trying to say it's a white or black thing. I just think it's a whole sick thing. And that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that it's a whole sick thing. And it got something to do with that bag, boy. And sometimes some people, they will support these companies and they will support, you know what I'm saying, the things that they're addicted to because they don't want to face the truth about somebody like myself who is just telling them the raw fucking truth as is. That's crazy. I'm ready to leave as in that's funny. Anyway, that's very true. I'll just say it like that. Yeah, so I mean, like, there's goals to this shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like trying to like sit there and tell people like, yo, you know, we got land over here, let's get together as a family, do this, that, and the third. Yo, my nigga, there's some people in my family that are just dead ass sleep. Like, they just straight up sleeping, and I'm just like, well, fuck it. You know? Not fuck it for myself, but just fuck it for everybody else and just go do my fucking thing. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of bullshit going on. I really feel like I need to probably do my readings like through Patreon or something. That's gonna be a thing, I'm telling you. I need to do that because I feel like I have more controversial readings, and who knows what they might do if I post this reading, but I might make it private. You know what I'm saying? Just being very mindful. But you guys tell me what you think. What do you think about this, basically? I'm sorry, I can't stop blushing. I'm telling you, the internet, boy. I'm glad you're doing this reading. I could swear that man was in an island. Huh. Unless if they cloned him. You can clone people, can't you? Right? But does that mean that your soul is alive? Dun, dun, dun. But everything is all conspiracy theory. Remember, it's all conspiracy theory. If you didn't see it, it's not true. I find it hilarious that people make laws like this, basically, and people just kind of like go along with this doctrine of belief, if that makes sense. I have like so much shit to talk about, but honestly, I'm just like all over the fucking place. And I really don't give a fuck at this point. Because I just kind of feel like, I'm just like, you know, how is it that I'm sitting there trying to prove for myself that I'm actually sane in my mind when the rest of the world don't even know what the fuck is going on? And people think that like you need proof in order to say what it is that you say. But it's like I'll sit there and have conversations with people. Thank you, Katrina, for the hearts. I appreciate that. And sit there and have premonitions with people on the phone, and they won't vouch for me because they don't want to get involved. But God is my witness at the end of the day. I know what I experience, I know what I say. And as long as ancestors are aware of that, that's all the solidification that I need. But for whatever reason, they don't want to acknowledge the fact that you about that motherfucking life. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no made up shit, basically. But it's all good. It's just crazy. I just kind of feel like people need to watch their fucking children, bro. Like, all this chaotic bullshit. Watch your motherfucking children. This is in this space. I know that I keep going on and on, but I just keep feeling like people just are really scared and nervous about what's happening. And I just kind of feel like in this space, like I said, it's just about maintaining your resources and maintaining the network that you have with your family in order to push through this situation, basically, in order to make it through this particular process. At the end of the day, it's a real spiritual war that's going on out here, bro. It's a lot of people that believe in a religious doctrine that promotes sacrifice and devouring of flesh on specific days, and then they get highly upset when they see this happening on a consistent basis to our Black children and our Black men and the disappearance of Black women, and then nobody does anything about it. I'm just kind of wondering what kind of fucking world do we live in? So I just feel like at the end of the day, God has had enough. The 7 wonders are here. If you haven't noticed, there probably won't be an election because they know that it's time of judgment. We're approaching the new year, the new calendar of 9/11, okay? They have put a marker, okay? They have put a marker in the space of time for, let's see, what year is that? So let's see, that's 2009, right? So technically 9/11, even if it happens or if it's stated, no wait, I have to do that backwards. So 9 years, I'm sorry, I'm doing math. But anyway, they have put in a marker to where if you have 9/11, 2001, right? So they placed a marker at that position for a reason. And I'm saying this for a good reason, dude. I'm telling you. Okay, so check this out. I have a question. When the initial bombing happened, this is some gematria shit, because this is some shit that I feel like I want to talk about and share with people, but I just feel like maybe I should like kick off a sample of this and then we'll get into some deeper stuff moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And doing a whole Patreon thing, because I feel like I want to have these discussions. It's just that I don't want to waste my time, and I need to be, you know what I'm saying, secure with what I'm able to provide to the students or the people that want to learn from me. That's it. Y'all decide that, and y'all let me know. Hit me up and let me know whether if you wouldn't. The actual 9/11 bombings, or actually the bombings that happened at the World Trade Center that year, what year was that? Was that like 92? Does anybody know which year that was? Because I'm trying to like make a specific correlation, but even beyond that point, 9 years back, okay, if we're looking at a Coptic calendar, 9/11 happened 1992 according to the Coptic calendar on 9/11, which is the actual New Year. Okay, this is an actual New Year system that they celebrate through the Coptic calendar, right? But we're going through this traumatic era in life, and everybody's so depressed. And 1993, interesting. So it's basically using aspects of markers, if that makes sense, okay? So they use aspects of time and markers to where in the actual calendar you know, like just putting a mirror of calendars but keeping it a certain aspect apart, you understand? But triggering certain things at specific moments, because they're going on a calendar system in order to create this programming of PTSD, mass PTSD, bro. Like this whole government bullshit, it's ridiculous. But it's a constant mocking energy that America has been putting out there. And I'm not saying it's the people. What I'm saying is it's the psychosis of how people actually function, like how governments function, how holidays function, how people function, bro. It's crazy. Right, Katrina, I feel like once the start and more to come. They put things as an aspect of a marker, like I said, in the aspect of a marker, because they're trying to be in a space of signifying something. It's kind of like mocking God in a way, you know, the right time to mock God, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what they're doing their best to promote and to challenge in this particular sense. People need to wake up and see what this country is made out of. It's just kind of strange to me that people are sitting there talking about, oh, this country is made out of, you know, from Albert Pike and all this other stuff like that, and Freemasonry and blah, 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 and everybody's all a part of this and that, and they're all affiliated, whatever. And it's just all some made up nonsense, and people actually were divulging that, you know what I mean? And just saying, oh yeah, this is all conspiracy theory. And look where we are now, because it's a constant mocking. It's a constant mocking of power. You understand? This is how this shit works. That's how this works. But their whole entire purpose is to be in a space of keeping someone like myself, you know, a black woman, right, in this position of feeling that they're not supposed to embrace their true power, right? Or they're not supposed to be in this space of actually embracing their own power and saying, this is wrong. I believe that your fraternity is wrong. I believe that your objective in this fraternity is wrong. I believe that what you are doing to nature and to women and to children is wrong. I believe that, like, when do people actually sit up and say that that is wrong? You know what I'm saying? I was the tragedy. It's crazy. It's all crazy. So let's see, February 26th. So that happened on Savior's Day on 1993. Okay, and according to the Coptic calendar, the Twin Towers happened. If we're doing like kind of like a time loop, but there's different ways and different maps to look at Savior's Day from the aspect of 1993. If we're taking how many years? If we're taking like, what is it, 9 years off? You know what I'm saying? And we're currently in 2020 now, but it's 2012, approaching into the new year, moving into 2012 with this Coptic calendar. And we have a choice to settle wherever we feel is necessary for us, or deal with the consequences of the deficit of a country. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot to bear. I'm like, wait a minute. So you like, y'all niggas done enslaved people. Y'all did all this other shit like that. But you telling me that I gotta go along with all this superiority and privilege and all this nonsense? Get the fuck out of here. I'm over it. I'm just over it. I'm over it. But I know that in the meantime, it's like I have to train myself too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta exercise yourself. You gotta train yourself, bruh. I know I'm just sitting there talking randomly, but I feel like I need to tell people, like, focus on yourself. These people are giving you this aspect of quarantine and isolation, time to motherfucking ante up, because they're not gonna train you in this particular course of life. That's all I'm saying. Oh, it's a lot of energy. I'm sorry. It's just, there's a lot of energy that's going to be coming out to the forefront. And I just kind of feel like people need to get prepared for this shit. And I know it's a matter of, like I said, meditating, you know, doing all that other stuff like that. But people need to see the truth. People need to be aware of what's really happening to this country. And how it's like completely going through this process of dismantling upon itself. Anyway, is there anything else? I'm sorry, this reading is like so all over the place. But I really felt like I wanted to get some shit out because I'm assuming he has some things to say. You know what I mean? Do you guys like my gorgeous acorn? It's evil run by sex trafficking. Right, exactly. And it's a common thing, and I feel like I have this discussion, or I've had this discussion before when it comes down to certain artists and rappers, and people just think, oh, I'm just doing like this shit for fun. And it's just like, you know what? Let me just, you know, it is what it is. Thank you, Queen. Your work never goes unappreciated. Thank you, love. I appreciate that. I'm sorry, I went for a walk and I found this gorgeous acorn. I just wanted to put like something positive out there, like, so I don't know, maybe I'm gonna just like go plant a tree or do something like that. I encourage everybody to go out there and plant things, especially for the survival of the future and for your children's future. You know what I'm saying? So get back to nature, get back to earth, all that other stuff like that. Pray for them babies, bro. I'm telling you, I love your knowledge, Ashay. Thank you, love. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? I usually keep all that stuff to myself, so I'm sorry if I have like an explosive like energy about me because I keep all this shit inside and don't say much. But we're all kind of like going through that right now, to where we have like all these thoughts in our minds, if that makes sense, and we're piecing all these like different aspects together, you know? But we have to learn the game of our enemy. You understand what I'm saying? We have to learn the game of our enemy. And I'm not saying that it's a specific color or anything like that, but we have to learn the game of our enemy and move ahead of our enemy. Does that make sense? That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to put out there. I'm trying to bring balance back into this world because the divine feminine is coming. I'm just letting y'all know. And I'm highly excited about that. Like, she's going to really go through a menstruation process that you just won't believe. But anyway, I appreciate all of you for tuning in. I'm sure I'm probably gonna get back to the list and do like Amy Winehouse and like all these other artists and stuff like that. But I felt like I needed to put this out here really quick just to get it off my chest and everything. And let's just keep it at allegedly for YouTube guidelines. But anyway, I appreciate y'all for checking me out and tuning in. Peace out.